F3 might have issues, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on it in the background.
Horizon Forest are like starting early. What?
Yeah, I'll get up the stream just so I can see all the comments, but if F3 goes smoothly, then we're going to be finishing very early.
And you've also got the interviews to do afterwards, haven't you? Aren't we?
Yeah.
No, just wanted to make sure you still do them.
Okay, F4, get that up. As Andy says, yeah, and I think we are live. So, hello everyone, welcome to FRL F4 Season 1 for round 15 for the San Marino Grand Prix. This is the first time, once again, we're going to a new track, the second new track of the game, and the first time I think FRL's ever been to Imola, which is obvious. I don't think it's been on the F1 games for quite a while. Quite a traditional track. It's going to be interesting to see how easy it is to overtake, so really look forward to seeing how the drivers fare through these 19 corners, a lot of chicanes as well. So Dan, this is going to be a real test for the drivers, a lot of gravel traps as well, so there's not much room for error, is there?
No, they've got to take it easy to start things off with. I think when they're on their outlap, just warm the tyres up a bit. Just get things moving. I know I say it all the time, but they just need to make sure that they take it easy early on, get things moving, make sure they can get adjusted to the track nice and early, and then once they get adjusted to it, then start flying around the track. But one thing they need to be careful of is if it turns to a wet race, because this track is not nice for a wet race.
Yeah, it definitely isn't, but I'm sure they're probably going to tell us in the comments, but as you see, a very satisfying full grid. Nice to see, once again, good attendance in F4 as usual. I think F3 is starting a little bit later, and that's because we're starting quite early, as, I mean, a full grid, we can just start straight away. I think the first driver out on track is a Williams. Yes, Pippo. But as things stand in the championship, is VIP GTA Game on top with 179 points. Jim Straven second on 157. Demoniac in third, just 2 points behind Jim Strav. Fourth Pippo, fifth Arise, sixth Alpha King, who's moved up to F3, as I say, I think every week. But Stephen in seventh, Zook in eighth, Bar in ninth, Evo in 10th. And in terms of constructors, it's Williams in first with 317, Ferrari in second with 244, and rounding off the top three is Haas in third with 159. But it's going to be interesting, Dan. I know you didn't make last week, but I think you know the trend with this F4 season. We do see quite regularly, with the man we're going on board with, the Williams usually dominate, I'd think it's fair to say. A few mistakes in there, but they usually do come out of the blocks really strong in every qualifying session, so surely the favourites to take pole and put it on the front row will be the Williams boys.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to do it again tonight. From the races that I've seen this season, the Williams guys have been exceptional all season so far. And like you said, we see a lot of good times in qualifying, but the Williams, like you said, they dominate qualifying. And I think we're going to be expecting to see them qualifying again tonight. As Pippo, he starts his flying lap here going into turn one. Pippo, he's looking promising as always. And I think tonight, my pole position prediction is going to go to either Arise, Pippo, or who's the other Williams?
VIP.
Or VIP. One of those three will be on pole tonight, I think. There's also a possibility that you could see either Zook or O'Steven or somebody like that taking pole tonight. But like I said, my main prediction is Arise, VIP, or Pippo that will take pole tonight.
Yeah, definitely going to be, I think that's probably the three favourites you said there. We don't usually do qualifying predictions, so thanks for saying. I will put my three in as Pippo gets on his up. He looks pretty pacey, so I'm not sure they're cheating, but I'll go for Pippo for pole. I think you've missed a key man out of Demoniac, I'll put in second. And Resolute, yeah, he's in 17th. But I would going to also say Resolute Rally, the man in P8 at the moment. I reckon he usually has a pace in qualifying, drops off in a race, but I can back him for a third place in qualifying. But Pippo just rounding off his lap, coming through the last corner of Ravazza, turn 18, up to the line. This is hardly called, it's turn 19, and then up to the line. It's going to set the pace, 15.7. Wow. Very respectable. I think if we see times in the low 15s, I think you'll know that's a very good lap. But that's a really good banker. And as you can see with Andy, I mean, the gap between those two is pretty much night and day. I think Bar is about halfway through his lap, but it's going to be tough to beat that lap from Pippo.
Oh yeah, 100%. He has well and truly set the pace for tonight. So far in qualifying, 115.7. I don't think I've seen a time that low before. I think I've seen about a 116.1, 116.2. That's the lowest I've seen round this track. So if anybody could beat Pippo's time, I've got a lot of respect for you tonight, because this is not an easy track in my opinion. But I think if anybody's going to be able to take it, I think it'll be VIP or Rise that will take it from him.
Yeah, Arise is quite fast as Bar goes up to the line, really weak time, but that is on the mediums to be fair. No, Steven, he goes even slower, but that, as I said, is on the mediums. But Arise, you would probably back, he's on mediums as well, so quite a few drivers fancying the
Resolute,
mediums out of
wow.
Resolute Rally. What a lap that is. I pointed it out that I think in Spa we saw, maybe with you commentating, he's really fast in qualifying, but then in the race it all kind of falls apart from him. But I mean, he's put in an absolute stonking lap, and Arise on mediums, I don't think he's going to get close, but we'll follow on board with him, as I think a McLaren might be starting a lap. I think that's Energy. He's a new driver. Forgot to say he's in P20 at the moment. As Arise up to the line, is it going to be around J Gaming I'd expect? That's a very competitive lap on mediums, and I mean, these laps coming in, they're not too shabby. They're knocking on the door of F3 pace.
They are, and they are really trying to fight for this podium, for this pole position tonight. I mean, I was not expecting anybody to be able to beat a 115.748, but I think I was just proven wrong, and I think I was proven wrong just as much as you were, because I don't think either of us was expecting anybody to take that 115.7 away from Pippo. But Resolute Rally's done exactly that, and I think looking at that, he's going to be a real threat tonight, because I don't think I've seen him race in FRL yet. I might have seen him do one race, but oh, even better.
Wow.
Wow.
I completely missed that again, but I mean,
Wow, I was on board with him.
our predictions, you know, they're not too far off. I think you said VIP Pippa and Arise. Arise just missing out there, but I said Resolute Rally up there in third. For a .4, who knows at this rate? Maybe a 14. That would be absolutely ridiculous if we managed to do that. New reserve driver for McLaren, taking Kevin Case's place. He's put himself up into P5, 1.2 seconds off the pace. Not too shabby. If he can keep it clean in a race, he could be quite a solid driver to come. Looking at who else is on laps, Bar is slow. Oh, Steven is improving by quite a bit, but that's because he's on a slow time. But do you think maybe, Dan, a lot of people would say, oh, Steven could be a good contender for another podium this season, his second this season, as obviously this track, it doesn't take any prisoners. No Steven with his consistency in a race, it could prove quite good dividends.
I think if Steven does what he does every week I've seen him race, I think he'll be quite comfortable on this track, and I think he will be up there fighting for the podium. Whether he gets on the podium or not is a different story, but I definitely think that he's going to be up there, maybe even taking that P1, maybe P2 position. But like I've said, we've still got VIP, Resolute, Pippo, Rise, all those drivers, they are still up there, and they're also going to be the bigger threats in this race. So it's all about who can keep the composure the best tonight, and whoever does, they'll finish on podium. But I think Steven could certainly take that podium position away, with him, as he also hits a 117.4 as well there.
Yeah, I was just going on board with the Demoniac and Evil Zook, and it seems as though they've both invalidated. Evil Zook's going to go on another lap on the softs. Demoniac on the mediums. A lot of drivers are favouring the mediums, and this strategy is, bless you, I think it's a medium soft, and it should be quite a comfortable medium soft, but strategy could come into play. I imagine there's going to be quite a few safety cars, although there is a fair bit of room to the walls as Evil Zook takes a little trip in a gravel. I think there could be quite a few crashes as it's so many bumpy curves as Evil Zook backs out on his lap, as Demoniac pits as well, so I think Ties is going to be the next one. But as I say, we could see a few safety cars, Dan, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it all depends on how each driver decides they're going to take the turn. I think turn one they need to be careful, most definitely, like you do every race, whether it's an easy track or not. Always take it easy into turn one. But like you said, I think we're going to see quite a few safety cars tonight. And if we don't, I'm going to be really surprised. And Cryptic puts in a 128.3. I don't know what happened with him because I was riding on board with him the whole lap.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. A little bit slow, but I guess maybe he made a mistake.
He might have done, I might have missed it, but he's still going. You've also got Ty's loose Humanoid that's on flying lap at the minute, Evil Zook on the flying lap. So there's still plenty of time left to go in this qualifying session. It's just I can't see anybody taking a 115.4 away from VIP at this point, and if they do, I'm just going to stop saying that every time.
Yeah. I don't think anyone can blame you. VIP, as we said, setting the bar really high, but Pippa though was actually up on his time through the first sector. Second sector, a little bit weaker for the Italian man. This is, I guess, technically his home race, even though it's in San Marino. I think. But Pippa up to the line. Is it going to be improvement? It isn't. So that's a little bit of a surprise for Pippa. Maybe he's reached his limit, which would be a little bit of a worry given his teammates 3/10 faster. But we'll look at Arise is invalidated. Volvo's invalidated as well. Jake's invalidated. Lewis has backed off? Yeah, so a lot of drivers, I guess, invalidating and not maybe setting the cleanest laps. Only got 12 laps in at the moment with 8 minutes left to go. But Bar's on a push lap for Alfa Romeo. He's going to be coming through. I think this is Variante Villeneuve, 5 and 6. Coming to Tosa, which is kind of like a hairpin, but it goes uphill and it's really tough, obviously, on a traction. It's coming out to one of the really tougher corners, which is Peritella, which is the double left-hander almost. But it's very easy to invalidate on the outside as well. Then another double corner, the double right-hander, where you have to be really careful on these curbs, which is a common trend around this track. And as we said, Dan, if you push those curves too much as Bar's not on a very competitive lap, obviously you can come prisoner to the track and crash out.
Yeah, you need to be careful with some of these curbs because they will not take any. I need to be careful how I say this. They won't take any prisoners. Let's just say that if you go on that, if you take the curbs wrong, you're pretty much going to see yourself go out this race already. That's all I can say for the drivers. So they need to be careful with each turn they do tonight. If they don't want to crash out, because all these drivers are good and they all have the potential to be on the podium. It's just whether they can push themselves hard enough to get that podium, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I was going ball with the Rise, and how disappointing that was. 2/10 up, and it just there's so many chicanes on this track. It's very easy to get muddled up. It's Variante Alta. I think Variante means chicane, and he just invalidated on the entry as. I think that's Energy, the reserve, putting in. It didn't look competitive initially, going fast lap, but that's 4/10 off. Not bad at all.
That was a very good lap. I was on board with him for that last.
Andy, sorry, Andy's up by 9/10. Keep an eye out for him. I need to come around the last corner, but sorry, yeah, sorry, carry on, Dan. Sorry for interrupting.
I can't even remember what I was saying. No, I was riding on board. I was on board with Energy at that point, and I thought he was going to take that pole position away. I was ready just to keep my mouth shut. But surprisingly, Andy was going. I don't know who he was overtaking. I think it might be the VIP. I think he was overtaking. He was overtaking one of the Williams, I think it was, and then moved over to the side of the track, and Andy almost took him himself and that other guy out of the qualifying there, but he just missed him.
I smell a new pole. VIP's up by almost 2/10. This is really rubbing it into the competition. We know this man has pace. He definitely doesn't have the consistency to, I guess, maybe move up the tiers. But he's up by 4/10 now. This is getting ridiculous. I didn't think we'd be having a 14. Has he invalidated? He's managed to keep it valid. He's definitely lost probably a 10th or two. But Demoniacs, I think, his championship rival in unlucky 13th. It's only going to get worse for Demoniac, because surely he's going to see a new pole position. VIP coming around the last corner. Is it possibly a 14? It's going to be absolutely competitive, like, by the way, and it is a 15-1. What a lap from VIP. The Dutchman is absolutely flying around this track. And that is domination from VIP, isn't it? Just.
Oh my god. I'm just going to shut up altogether now because I was not expecting anybody to beat a 1:15.4 and he's just going to beat his own time. I'm just going to shut up making predictions for qualifying from now on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone could expect that. 15-1. I'll check F3 while Demoniac comes around last two corners. F3, F3. If he did that in F3, he'd get second. Put it that way. Absolutely ridiculous time for Demoniac. Demoniac's going to put himself up amongst the pack. I mean, it's a strong time. If he can get another lap in, maybe he can move up to P5. But don't discount Arise. Arise on those medians. He's the anomaly, as I think someone's popped up there. Well,
yeah,
who was that?
He took a 1:17.2. He was down there in P15, I think it was, and he manages to push himself up with the 1:17.2, and he's now sitting up there in P8, and he is into the top half of the grid with 3.5 minutes left to go of this qualifying session. This race is really looking like it's going to be setting out to be something special tonight.
It'll be... Oh, Jake Game is just invalidated. It'd be interesting to know the delta. As well, Jake's actually cut the corner, so... a little bit of corner cutting qualifying. Not allowed, but I will see what the stewards think of that. But, I don't know, he's trying to catch up to his Alpine teammate. I think they're going to try some slipstream tactics.
Ooh.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who the Alpine team boss is, but he's not going to be very happy about his two drivers in 12th and 13th. A little bit underwhelming, but then again, a lot of people haven't set lap times, so maybe they'll drop even lower. Volvo come around last corner. Is it going to be competitive? It doesn't seem to be a 5/10 off, but quite interesting. A lot of the teammates I feel like are quite close. You can see Williams only 2 places apart, Alpine stuck together, Ferrari only 3 places apart if you count in a certain way. As Red Bull were quite close, and then Tyres puts in a decent lap. But as Mercedes are also 18th and 20th, so maybe teammates could have a part to play. And just seen Pippo there, improved by 2/10. So ignore what I said about him saying his best lap. He's weaving, he's loving that lap, and it's a Williams one too.
This is just, I just don't know even what to say.
It's domination, it really is. Pippo and VIP. Oh, I mean, if Resolute Rally can improve...
Oh.
Who's that? Evil Zook now. So, as I said, don't discount Arise. Definitely don't discount Resolute when he's that close. I think we could have a few more drivers getting into the low 15s. A few drivers might better the likes of Energy. I think Energy, if he kept that time, he's definitely not going to stay there, as I think there's a few drivers who definitely haven't put the lap together. One of them is probably Tyres, who doesn't seem to be on a lap. He's backed off. As Bar's gone up there as well, so Alfa Romeo having a good time, as the AlphaTauri ahead of Bar has seemed to get in the way a little bit. But any surprises there for you, Dan, in terms of the grid order?
The times. That's all
Yeah.
I've got to say. I was expecting like low 1:15s, but a 1:15.1 and a 1:15.4. That is just a time that you don't see every day on this track.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I mean,
Rise might actually been for battle here. Sorry, but Rise is pushing. Oh, 1:15.3.
What a lap. I completely missed that. I didn't hear what you said, so I can go on board. But Arise just caught the very end of that. 2/10 off. So now Arise, the Red Bull, is in a Williams sandwich. And I think he's pushing again. So, God, Arise, on your second lap, the tyres might be screaming for dear life. But if he can get 2 laps out of these tyres, it'd be absolutely massive. Pippo retires. And that's on track as well. See where he's retired. He's just gone left. He just crashed the car. Very odd. Arise, I'm not sure whether you saw Danny's first sector split.
Hello?
Did you see Arise's first sector split? I was just wondering.
No.
Yeah, it would have been interesting, but through the second sector split, we'll see now. He's 4/10 up! Oh, jeez, Louise, that is absolutely massive. Alright, here, he could be stealing pole in the 14s. I didn't think we'd be in the 14s. VIP, he's improving slightly as well. So this is going to be an absolute pole shootout between Arise and VIP. VIP slightly improving, but because he's got a 2/10 advantage, that could be key. Arise, round the last corner, he hasn't invalidated up to the line. Is it going to be pole? Is it going to be 14? Oh, it's so close, and he doesn't. He hardly improves, and that is very disappointing for Arise. That last sector really didn't do him the best. VIP, he's up by 32 thousandths now. Can he maybe extend his pole? Can he even go into 14s? There's front wind flying all over the place in the last sector. VIP round the last corner. Can he maybe make it into the 14s? The Williams man up to the line. Oh, nearly! What's that? It's unbelievable. 0.333 ahead of Arise. What an up from VIP. Not much else to say.
I've just got nothing to say right now on that. From now on, whenever I do commentary in this league, I'm just not even going to make any predictions.
Yeah. Oh no, Demoniac invalidated, I just saw. But maybe that's deliberate because of P11 and P12 for Ferrari. Might be going alt strat, but oh, what was your prediction? Wasn't it VIP, Pippo, Arise?
Yeah, I was
What's
predicting
on?
those three.
What's on? Fair enough, yeah.
I was predicting those three up there, but I wasn't sure on the order.
Oh, oh my. I don't think we have many commentators who get qualifying predictions bang on, but fair enough. That is a brilliant qualifying session. I don't think the 3/10 tells the whole picture. I think Pippo could have improved a bit. Arise definitely could have improved, because he was up by 4/10, I think, by the middle sector, and then in the last sector he lost it all. I'm gonna have to check that again because that would be very interesting. Because otherwise, who knows? Arise might have the pace to take the fight to VIP. But either way, it's VIP GTA Gamer out on top, Arise in second, Pippo in third, Resolute Rally takes a spot on the second row. Very good qualifying for him. Energy, the new Frenchman who's in this league, he puts in P5, so very solid qualifying from him. Zook in P6 and in P7, his Alfa Romeo counterpart in P8. Ties in P9, Cryptic in P10. Gonna look through the whole order and quickly check the race director because.
If Energy can keep this up for the whole race, this could be a debut for him to remember for a long time to come.
Definitely, and I just saw that Arise was legitimately 3/10 up, so that makes it for a tasty race then. And I don't think there's going to be much between the two, of VIP and Arise. Arise said he fucked up the last corner, as he puts it in the Discord, so maybe he has a little bit more to offer. But it's definitely going to be interesting, Dan. Do you think anyone also is going to be, strategy-wise, picking the hard compounded tyres?
I think if they go for the hard compound tyres, it's just pure strategy. It's just to try and go as long as they can in the race, and then when everybody else decides to pit, they can get as far away from the rest of the grid as possible. But personally, I think to start a race off on hards could be a bit of a risky move to make. So I'd probably say go with mediums to kick things off in this race.
Yeah.
And then maybe move on to hards about 10 laps in or so, and try maybe even 10-15 laps in to try and go the rest of the race, and try and go on to find the win.
Yeah, I think that would be definitely the best idea, as all the drivers are underway. I'll check F3. I think, what was our pole lap? It was a very low 15.0, and once again, that would have put you in F3 currently, as I think F3 have 2 minutes to go. It would have put you P2, so it shows these top two we have, maybe Pippo as well, but obviously we're not too sure of his pace, because he obviously crashed out before his last run. The top two are definitely a class above the rest of the field. Can they keep it on track in the race? Who knows? If there's a late safety car, which is definitely possible, it could maybe throw a spall and maybe put O'Steven on the mediums into play. But quite interestingly, Dan, not a single person on hards, and actually more people outside the top 10 on soft than on medium.
Yeah, it's a weird strategy that some of these drivers gone for, but like I said, who knows? Maybe they've gone for the hards. like maybe they're going to pit later on in the race for the hards, or maybe they're going to go, maybe they're just going to go on to the mediums as late as possible and try and see the race out. It's just, I don't really know what to say. I mean, softs, it could also help you out because I think most guys have gone on softs to try and help them with the pace a bit. But I personally think the mediums would have probably been the best bet in this race.
Yeah, I think mediums would make sense, but then again, people like Demoniac, I'm not sure. Maybe they on fresh sauce want to get past O'Steven and try and latch onto the soft runners train. Hopefully, we don't get as many safety cars as we had in, was it Netherlands, where we got, I think, 6 or so safety cars. Lewis is going way too slow. He has to speed up because it means the front guys, their tyres are going to be freezing. So that's not. He's really so good, blimey. Lewis is really backing them all up. It's similar to another Lewis in Brazil, but it'll be very interesting to see if maybe the front runners don't get a very good start. I've just seen the 2 Mercedes on the real life. They're starting right at the back, so they've got to do quite a lot of work ahead of this start. But oh, race predictions, of course. So I'll go with VIP in second. I'm going to say Arise on top. And I think third place will be the new man in P5. What's your race predictions quickly, Dan?
I was going to go Arise on top, VIP second, but then I'm going to change the third, and I'm going to say that Resolute is going to finish in P3.
That's not a bad prediction. It'll be very interesting to see if you get it right once again. We've got all the drivers readying up. Hopefully we get a better camera angle. That's a good one. It's 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looks like Arise has got a good start. VIP's actually already ahead of him on the left. Arise is trying to pull out around the outside. Can he make it stick into the chicane? They're going to go side by side. They're not going to touch. Very clean racing. Further behind, I think there's a Ferrari going a little bit deeper, and the 2 Alpha Tauris bang wheels. As there's a McLaren all kinds of out of shape, but it does seem to stay as they are towards the front. I think Energy's made up a place, and Demoniac or Bar seems to be losing a little bit of time. I don't think there's any DNFs as a Volvo's had a moment, but Arise is already putting pressure on VIP round the outside of, I think this is turn 13, VIP under already all sorts of pressure from Arise, and this might stay this way for quite a while as Arise runs wide, and all of a sudden he's really aggressive. He's all over the track. But Dan, this is going to probably be the way the race goes the whole way round. But they've got to take it easy to make sure they don't get penalties.
Yeah, these two, I've just been watching Arise and VIP, and those two are really going at it. Arise wants that P1 position as early as possible. VIP wants to hold on to that position as much as he can. And Resolute, my prediction for the other podium, he's dropped down to P5, which is a bit of a shock. But he's currently pushing Energy here. He's currently sitting in P4. Energy is just, he's literally holding on by about 3/10 here, but he is looking strong early on here. But he isn't gaining any time to Pippo at the minute at all. So this race, it's a great start to the race, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the rest of this race pans out here tonight, because these guys are really looking promising nice and early on in this race.
Oh, Pippo runs wide, and Pippo nearly hits the McLaren, but Energy's going to say thank you very much, and that's the podiums for Energy. And at the moment, if Arise can get out of VIP, my predictions come quite nicely, right? But Resolute rallies all over the back of Pippo. That's surely going to be a move maybe made on the back straight when DRS is enabled, as Pippo looks like he's slightly struggling maybe with some setup issues possibly. But as you can see there towards the back, Illicit Brownie, Lewis and Volvo probably all picked up damage as they all pit, but it leaves a few of the drivers like the Mercedes making out a few positions. Jake as well made up, probably stayed around the same. Jimstruv, haven't said much about him. He's down in P13. He usually has some good race pace though, so expect him to move up the field. But I mean, Dan, we have a very competitive grid here. To make it even inside the top 10, let alone the top 5, is going to be a really, really tough job.
Yeah, it is. All these drivers, they are looking so good already in this race. I'm surprised to be seeing Jim Strav down there in P13. But like you said, he's got good race pace, so I think he'll find his way up the grid a little bit. Jake Gamer, he's another good driver that could be up there. Illicit Brownie, FRL Lewis, those two drivers could also be up there, and along with Vilvo. It's not normal for him to be down there at the bottom of the grid. So it's going to get interesting as the race goes on tonight. Tide's loose. He's down in P12. He's gaining on Evil Zook here. So anything is possible. Anything could change in a split second in this race. Because if you look, just look how close the rest of this grid is compared to the guys near the back of the grid. It's just going to get really, really intense as this race goes on tonight.
Mockingjay's gone for a bit of a spin, I think, in the background. Resolute Rally's almost pushing along Pippo, but already seeing a few mistakes creeping. No DNFs though, so that's quite positive. No safety cars, but as I said, Resolute on the back of Pippo. I think actually these camera angles around Imola, some people say they're not very nice. I think they're quite nice. Got some nice helicopter shots of the battle between Ties and the Evil Zoo and O'Steven, who defended very well for that P10 spot. Just 1 point. Would have thought it'd be for a lot more, but Resolute Rally, easy as you like, round the outside of Pippo. And now Andy, I say that, Resolute Rally's making it a little bit difficult for himself. Perez might try and hang it round the outside. And now Andy's going to get Pippo as well. What a move from Andy. That came out of nowhere. But now Pippo as well. He got a little bit of a good run on Andy. But very good move from the Haas driver. Andy, once again, showing on his day can make a move as once again Pippo gets close. And now Pippo actually dives it down the inside of Andy into Tosa and into Piratella. I think Andy's ahead. But once again, some nice battling, Dan.
Yeah, Andy, he's surprising me at the minute. He is, because I've not seen. This is probably the best start I've seen Andy have in a long time. He is really fighting it out right now. He's currently sitting in P5. I think he could even move further. I think he could move further up the grid, providing he doesn't make any mistakes in this race, because he is really proving why he deserves to be racing in this league, because he is just. This is probably the best drive I've seen him do.
I smell a safety car, sadly. Yellow flags. Safety cars usually take a while to be enabled. I really hope there isn't one, as you can probably tell by my tone. I think we're in the clear with Jake. Jake seemed to be... That's the thing, with this track naturally... As Pippo makes a move very late in diving it down inside there of Andy. But I think the barriers are so far away, as you're going to see with VIP here. No safety car, that's quite nice. You're going to see, I think he just crashed to the left there, as you can see his skid marks. The barriers are so far away, it seems as though he just simply was so far away from the track, they didn't feel the need for a safety car. But I think Bar, I was going to say, he went for a spin, and now he pit. Mockingjay is just picking up the pieces there. Umanoid made a move on Saki Bane. Umanoid up into P13. Not too bad at all from Umanoid. He's yet to score points in quite a while, I think since Canada. Jimstrad makes a move on Ties. But the battle out front, Dan, we haven't spoken about it. VIP just 4 tenths ahead, and Arise is going to be pushing him all the way.
Yeah, Rise, he is really looking promising right now himself here. As Andy picks up a 3-second time penalty there. But Rise, he's looking like a massive threat to VIP right now. He hasn't got to worry about energy or anybody else behind him. His main focus right now is on VIP. He is really proving why he should be in the battle for the championship right now. He has proved it all season he has. Unfortunately for him, he crashed out in Austria, which cost him some good points there. So let's hope that he can keep his composure tonight and he can go on and get this win.
Yeah, as you said, obviously it wasn't the best race from him in Austria, but he responded really well by getting some solid results of 5th and 6th in Hungary, then again DNF'd in Belgium. But as of recently, in the last 3 races, he's been in the top 2 twice. So, Arise, we know he has the pace. At the moment, they're pulling quite a nice gap as Umanoid's gone for a spin, but I think that's only in the gravel, as yellow flags are now cleared. We'll look at the gap for the lead, because with this race being actually fairly clean, I don't know the amount of time it takes for a pit stop. I'd imagine it's around 20 or so seconds. So if the leaders pit now, as VIP picks up a penalty, I think they'll come out around the 13th. But that is massive for this fight for the lead now, isn't it?
It is. Arise has just got to stick with him now and hope he doesn't make a mistake, which could cost him the P1 position. But I think Arise is looking really comfortable right now. And
Arise picks up a penalty.
Ignore everything I've just said.
You can't write this. And now Ties Tyres as well picks up a penalty. Resolute and Andy. So the newcomer
Oh.
on the block might be maybe getting the win, but Arise around the outside takes the inside, and now he gets spin. The two leaders spin, but Arise, has he got damage? I don't think he has. But where's he going to come out? I think he's going to drop down to around his teammates' area. His teammates going to come round the first and second chicane. And Arise has got going, but that is going to be definitely sent to the incidents chat, as VIP, he just tagged Arise into turn 2, and that's going to be definitely for discussion in the post-race interviews. Who do you think was at fault there, Dan?
I think VIP was there, because if you noticed, Arise was going round very nicely, and then as he goes for the overtake, was it on the inside he attempted the overtake, or on the outside? You could see that as VIP went round, Arise came down on the inside, outside, wherever it was, and VIP does clip Arise's front end, which then cost Arise to spin and hit the barrier, which has just cost him his opportunity of winning tonight's race. I think he is going to be hoping that if he has to go in pits, he's going to be praying that there is a safety car so we can get up there and he can take that P1 position away from VIP, just to silence him.
He's in a bit of traffic because I think he made another mistake. So if I were you, Arise, I'd probably pit like Andy. I think the best strat maybe would be going to hards. I wouldn't do what Humanoid does and go to soft. That makes absolutely no sense. But interesting to see what Arise goes on to, as now the two Ferraris will move up, and that's so Steven going to try and go for a move down inside the Cryptic. Can this one be a bit cleaner? There we saw another Red Bull diving down inside, but this time the Red Bull of Cryptic actually gets out safe. But the two Ferraris, who looked really slow in qualifying, they really turned up the wick for the race, and they're running P5 and P6. And at this race, if the penalties keep ticking along, Dan, you might maybe expect, as well as Demoniac, who's really close to Pippo, some interesting, at the end of the race, they might pick up a few places with all the penalties.
Yeah, this is... everybody that hasn't got a penalty is going to be hoping for a safety car tonight, just so then they can try and stick with the rest of the guys for the rest of the race, and then everybody with penalties will just move down, and you'll see different changes to the grid tonight. But it is going to get interesting as the race goes on tonight, because they're only on lap 8, so anything can still change.
Saki's off. He was actually running a really nice race there. Not to say he isn't, but then again, he hasn't pitted. But Andy, he's actually already pitted as his teammate gets very close. Demoniac overtakes Pippo because he's now pitted. It's all a bit confusing with the stop, so I actually changed the graphic to a graph we don't usually use, so we know who's made a pit stop. But Andy, who has made a pit stop, he's actually looking quite good for a podium here, I dare say. Andy, not sure whether he has got a podium. I'll quickly check as the Haas boys are fighting. But Andy...
There's been a VSC. There's a VSC been deployed.
Who's that for? Maybe that's Debris, because no one's retired unless I'm mistaken. As this benefits Pippo quite a bit. But can I not... Yeah, Andy, he's actually he's 19th in the championship. As there's a safety car now, and I don't know why that's for, because there's 0 retirements. But just before I was going to say that, Andy hasn't got a podium, but now it's not going to look very likely, because now VIP's got a free pit stop, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, but I'm also confused, but I think that could have been down to Mockingjay. I don't know, because I wasn't on board with him at the time, but when the VSC came out, I did see Mockingjay move down 2 or 3 places, so unless he hit the wall and he lost his front wings, I'm not so sure. I'm not saying that it was his fault, but I think Mockingjay may have got wing damage, because I think his wings may have flew off because I did, like I said, I did see him move down 2 or 3 places.
Must have been like a fireworks display, given there's a full safety car for that. A little bit odd. I'm not sure whether he'd got that in real life, to be honest. But Steven stays out. Interesting, very interesting. And am I mistaken in saying they're already lapping Bar almost? Bar's going to have to stay ahead here, and Bar just about stays ahead. Very lucky for Steven. I'm not sure whether Bar's disconnected. Bar hasn't. So look at that. Bar was just so close to being lapped there. So lucky to be ahead of Steven. And I think it means everyone's on a lead lap. They are. So it's nice to know we don't have any lapped cars getting involved in this, whereas obviously it makes it a little bit messy. But I guess the there's going to be quite a messy restart with some slow drivers of Jim Stravino Stephen, quite fast in their own right, but on slower tyres, which are 9 laps old. They're going to be surely forming a bit of a roadblock for the rest.
Yeah, some of the strategies that these guys have gone on to is strange, but I think Jim Stravino Stephen, they really need to put on the safety car, because if they don't, they may just miss their opportunity of getting podium in this race, or even finishing in the points at this point of the race, because to not put under safety car is always really risky in my opinion. But obviously it's up to them what they do, and obviously if they choose not to pit, then that's obviously their choice, and if they don't get points, I don't know.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's quite all complicated, this strategy. We've got Saki Beno's about to catch up, and then we'll have Humanoid and the rest. But I was quite interested in what VIP was saying in the comments. I'm not sure whether that's about the Arise crash. He says he's an idiot. Is that about the Arise crash, or is that about him choosing mediums? Because a lot of people have chosen softs and hards. Is it a strategy blunder from VIP, or is it him almost admitting that he spun out Arise? Either way, Arise has actually recovered fairly nicely to 12, but he's definitely going to have to make up a lot of work if he wants to see the back of that Williams anytime soon. Asaki pits as well, so should have most of the grid. I'd imagine Lewis will catch up on this lap. He's actually 50 seconds behind, but he should manage to make up that difference. But our predictions have gone a little bit left. But you've still got Resolute Rally and VIP up there. Just you need, I guess, Arise to make his way. So on the topic, do you think Arise will be able to carve his way through the field? Because we've seen a few overtakes, but we haven't seen plenty. So do you think it'll be quite easy for him to make some overtakes, or do you think maybe he could become a victim of a DRS train, maybe even?
Honestly, mate, right now I do not have a clue, because he's got tyres loose. I think he'll overtake him. Evil Zook, I think he could overtake him. Cryptic, Andy, I think he could overtake those. But it's when he manages to hit Demoniac, Pippo, Resolute Rally, I think that's when he's going to find it hard to start overtaking them. But Arise does still have to pit, because he has gone back onto the softs unless he starts on mediums.
Yeah, as Barrett just taking a look out of Vitasso. Emilia Romagna Grand Prix should have been the name, or Imola Grand Prix apparently, but who cares? San Marino, it sounds quite exotic, as it's turning out to be quite an exciting race at the moment. DRS caught up Saki Bene, that is, of course. He's actually gone on to hard, so a lot of these drivers on the hard stand, they're going to be going all the way to the end. So, interesting strategy. You never know. If Resolute Rally can stick with the medium runners and not get held up by the likes of O'Steven and Jimsrav, he could be a contender for the win. I haven't said anything about the man in provisional second when you discount the stops. As Resolute Rally, just as I say that, he pits, weirdly enough. That's very odd.
I think he may be heading back onto the softs. I think he may be heading onto softs or mediums. There we go. He's gone onto the mediums. So I think he's planning on coming out and hopefully maybe going the rest of the race on the mediums. But it's going to be hard because there's still 20 laps to go in this race. So it's a weird strategy that he's taken.
Very.
Which makes this race even more confusing than it already is.
Yeah, you could say that again. We're only 12 laps in as well. It's just on the, or just over a third of the way. I don't see that. He was actually looking like the favourite for one of the favourites for the win, but now he pits. So now that means Pippo on the softs. Enter Pippo. He could now be one of the favourites, if you like, to make up some moves. He's on those fresh softs, so maybe there'll be some team orders. If he can get past the McLaren, he might need his teammate to let him past so that he can get past Osim and Jimstrav. Then Pippo's obviously going to pit because those softs definitely can't last to the end. But Dan, a lot of people will be questioning, can those mediums last to the end, would you think?
Depends how they use them. If they are pushing too hard, then they're going to pit again around lap 20, 25-ish. But but if they don't push him too hard for the next 10 laps or so, then I think they could potentially go the rest of this race. It just, like I said, depends how they use them.
Yeah, definitely. And Stephen, everyone's getting very close to Stephen. Just try and keep it single file if possible. Otherwise, obviously, a lot of people are going to be getting 5-second penalties, and we do not want that. But safety car surely in this lap. I think it's already said it's coming in this lap, as the Ferrari will get underway very shortly through Ravazza. Stephen, is he going to put the power down? He's waiting. And he goes. That was quite nice. Little dummy. But Jimstrav has actually planned it really nicely. And also someone who's planned it is VIP GTA Gamer. He's going to be right on the back of Jimstrav. That gap is about 1/10. Then into turn 1. Is he going to try and go round the outside? He's not going to try and do what he did to Arise. As in the background, it's absolute chaos. Andy makes a move. But now Demonia's going to try and get the switch back. And now a Cryptic is now going to also trying to get involved. I think there's a Demonia there going a bit wide. So it's all kicking off. And it's I don't know where to look. Demoniac goes wide. Oh, now there's 2 Red Bulls in this all of a sudden. Oh, now there's Humanoid as well, just to boot. Humanoid loses a few positions. It's absolutely like NASCAR at this point. Tied on going almost 3 wide into Peratella. Does he get spun out nearly? But as that AlphaTauri's got a little bit of bodywork damage, it looks like, or it's looking a little bit dusty. But at the moment, as Pippo, the 2 Williams are fighting. Maybe VIP's let him through, but I can't keep up with this. But at the moment, it's Stephen out on top. But is that for very long? Go Jimstrav even. Now he might have a go into the last sector. But Jimstrav, I don't think he's going to be close enough. Pippo round the outside of Jimstrav into the second last corner. There's damage for someone. And I think that might be for Pippo. And it is. And now he's going to have to pit surely.
Wow, I was not expecting that. I was just watching Jimstrav and Stephen go at it, and next thing you know, you see Pippo coming in on the outside there, and there you go, Jimstrav going on the outside himself there, and he's moving himself up into P1 now. This race, like you said, you just cannot write it. It is just so close right now. I just energy. Don't know where to look.
Energy absolutely sent it on Stephen, and now Stephen I think is trying. Well, he's seeing the consequences of staying out. I don't think it was the best decision, unless there's another late safety car. Andy has to get past Stephen, because those hards can definitely last to the end. And if those mediums can't, or other drivers pit, Andy could be in a great position, but he has to take the early blows and wait to the end and try and, I guess, when everyone pits, take the lead. Mercedes has spun, looks like Pip obviously pitted, as well as Demoniac, who had damage. Cryptic's losing a few spots. But, I mean, the racing's very clean, considering we've only got 3 people who seem to have spun. As I say that, Tyler, I think, makes a mistake. As Evil Zook's going to try and go down the inside of the second last corner on mediums. He's going to think better of it, or is he? That's going to be a safety car again, I've got a feeling. And it is. And now Jimstrav, surely he's going to pit. He can't pit. Stephen, he does pit. So this is going to be very interesting. What highs does Stephen go on to, Dan?
I think, what's he on now? Mediums. I think he's going to be heading on to the softs. I've got that feeling. Maybe if he picks the right strategy, he could be going on to the hards. And he has, I think. He has. He's gone on to the hards. So he's now going to be trying to see himself out for the rest of the race. You've also got FRL Andy that's in P4 right now. He's looking to see it out, I'd assume, at this point of the race. Jimstrav has to pit under this safety car, otherwise that's his race, I would imagine, over with, and there's no chance he's going to be able to take that podium away or that win.
The only bad thing, or negative, in Jimstrav pitting is he's already caught up to the safety car. So if he pitted now, he'd lose a whole bunch of positions. But is it worth it? Because as you're going to see with Stephen, on fresh hard, he hasn't really. It's almost like a sideways step there, where he was before even a first safety car, because he's in P10. That's kind of where he was going to be before as Mini left, or Mockingjay leaves, which is a big shame, as he was looking fairly solid to get a tidy amount or a good decent position on maybe P14, 15 if he kept it on track. But it is Stephen. There's a spin actually going backwards. I think that's Evolvo. That completely caught me off guard. Now his teammate's going to get past, but I do think it's probably best if Jimstrav pits, as you say. And does he go softs? he's very good on his tyre life, so I don't see why he shouldn't. Or does he stay out again? There's so many questions to be asked here. Is Pippo gets a 5-second penalty?
I've just literally got my eyes on Jim right now because I feel like he needs to pit. I think he is. He's decided to pit now, which is very. I know he's going to lose quite a few places, but I think it was the wise decision because if he comes back out, I think he will then be able to push himself, catch up with the safety car again, and then just push himself till the very end of the race if he can, depending on what tyre compound he goes on to. Because if he goes onto the softs and pushes them too hard, he's going to end up spinning. He's gone onto the soft, so we can't push him too hard, otherwise he will not see the rest of this race out.
Yeah, he'll definitely struggle if he can't make those tyres or see last to the end. It's going to be quite close with Jim Strav to get those tyres to the end. We're just about halfway. I thought we were maybe in F4 going to get a safety car free race, but obviously I think that was. Well, it wasn't even Jake, was it? I think we had Jake retire before that, and then we had some debris or something from Mockingjay, which caused the first safety car, and then Mockingjay causing another safety car. You don't usually see a driver cause two. I think safety car is going to be in this lap. I don't see why it'd be out another lap. But it is the debut man in the McLaren who's out on top, believe it or not. I wouldn't say he's the fastest. He seems just to be almost like a demoniac who's been kind of just rejuvenated. As we saw this with Demoniac, didn't we, in the first race where he did go on to win. Obviously, Energy joining the lead through Demoniac. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe Demoniac can try his best to get as close to him as possible. But he's a little bit lacking in 13th. But with the amount of penalties, that could all change. But Dan, do you think possibly Cryptic? We didn't say a thing about him. He could maybe be a contender to lead in, well, not lead into turn one, but grab a few positions for sure.
I think he can grab a few positions, but the thing is with this, he's the only driver with soft compound tyres on at the minute. Oh, no, he's not. Ignore everything. Ignore that. He's one of the drivers, one of the two drivers on the soft compound tyres. They're 5 laps old. So it's going to be interesting to see if he attempts to push these tyres till the very end of this race. But if he does, towards the end, he is going to be spinning all over the place.
VIP down the inside of Energy. He thinks better of it. But Energy's got a poor run. And that's Umnoid getting... Umnoid pits for some reason. That's a bit confusing. I thought it was VIP. But VIP, he just stays behind Cryptic. I thought he was going to make the move on Andy. But Andy stays ahead as well. It's going to be very interesting to see how Andy progresses on those older, harder tyres. He has got a penalty to his name, which kind of does undermine it. But it is VIP just 2 tenths behind the new debutant in the McLaren. It seems to be all clean as we do have... Oh, I say that. And then Lewis and Illicit Brownie have made it a little bit dirty, as Illicit Brownie's got absolutely no wing. So that's probably going to be his race down the dustbin, unless there's a safety car. But... not many positions being made. The 2 Alfa Romeos looking quite nice in 5th and 6th. I'm not sure whether they've stayed there. But it's going to be all critical, isn't it, for the likes of Energy to not push too hard, to not get a penalty down.
If he can hold this out now, without getting a penalty, for as long as possible, I think, and even if VIP overtakes him, I think if Energy could stick with him, this could be one hell of a debut for Energy, because... for him to be able to finish P1 on his first race in FRL, is something that he is going to remember, especially getting P1 in your debut race. So I think he is looking at it now. I think as it stands, he's favourite to go on to win this.
Oh no! Sorry for worrying in there, but Ty's absolutely kamikazed into O'Stephen. He looked a little bit nervous, but he just absolutely ramped into O'Stephen, taking it very easy into that corner. But Ty's just... well, no other way. He just rammed into him, and that means he has damage, and that is why he is getting absolutely swamped here. Resolute Rally's surely going to get past him, but Volvo's going to try and go down the inside into Piratella, and he spins as well, and out is both AlphaTauris with wing damage. And Frank's toss is not going to be very happy about those two, as now Cryptic and Evil Zook, they're going side by side into Variante Alta somehow, and now Cryptic into Ravazza, 17 and 18. It looks like He's actually going to go for it on the softs. Is Evil Zook going to give him the space? They're going to go side by side, and Cryptic comes out on top. But good battling once again. No position changes until you get obviously further back. But Arise, we haven't said much about him. He's up into P6 now.
He is now looking like a massive threat. 7/10 separating Arise and his teammate Cryptic there. 4/10. Arise is about to overtake him here, surely.
Yeah, Arise, is there going to be team orders? You'd imagine so. I think these two are in the same party. It'd make a lot of sense because Cryptic, he doesn't have a penalty though, to be fair, and he is on a soft, so there's probably more of an argument here than I guess in other races, but he does let him by, and that's good team orders probably, as it does seem as though Arise is one of the faster drivers on this grid. And now if Arise can get past Evil Zook, I think he has one penalty? Yeah, one penalty. He can then go trying to chase after Andy, but Evil Zook come out of nowhere. But he's probably going to be coming out of nowhere is Arise as well into Varianta Alta. They're going to go side by side. They're going to both leave each other very enough space. Clean racing. And Arise now is up into 4th. And surely VIP, he's going to see the progress, obviously, in the top left-hand corner of his screen and the position changes. He must be getting a little bit scared that Arise, if he gets close to VIP, he's going to be very aggressive, as he's probably still got that turn 1 memory in his head.
Yeah, Arise, he is literally coming for VIP right now. He is not holding back. He is trying his hardest to push. His VIP goes up into P1 there, and Evil Zook comes back on the inside, going back up into P4, overtaking Arise, and they are side by side right now. And Evil Zook and Arise are really battling it out for P4 right now as we speak.
Evil Zook, I think Arise is cheeky though. He knew there was no space, but he gave it a go. Evil Zook's a very nice driver to race with, but obviously he was never going to leave all the space he could get. But Arise there, that's the power of the DRS. Simple enough for Evil Zook. He just sailed on by with the DRS enabled. But now Energy, as we saw, he got caught out. But once again, that penalty for VIP GTA Gamer, is it going to come back to haunt him? You'd probably think so. Another man who went from P18 before the safety car came in, Jim Straff, he's made up 8 positions. Now Resolute Rally as well, he's right on the back of him. But Jim Straff, he's been a bit quiet as there's an absolutely ginormous battle as Pippo thinks about a move on DRS Saki Bene. But I think Bar is holding up a massive train here, as they're side by side against Jim Straff and Pippo. I can't believe about the amount of racing. It's very clean racing, so I'm really proud of these guys compared to the first race where it was a little bit of a mess. But at the end of the day, it is VIP out on top, Energy second. But Energy, with that DRS, he's sticking very close.
Energy is looking promising, if I'm honest with you there, mate. Oh, and Arise comes back on the outside of Evil Zook, moving back up into P4. These two are really going for it right now, but as it stands, Evil Zook will still take P4 away with him.
Yeah, Jim Strav has been let through by Saki Bene. Saki Bene's now got Resolute Rally, who's now got past him. It's all a bit confusing now. Saki Bene letting through another driver. Does he have damage? No, he doesn't. So he's dropping through the grid a little bit. So that's really odd why he let through. I think he was trying to be a gentleman, but that didn't work. But as you said, Arise up ahead of Evil Zook. Do you think Danny's going to be able to chase down Andy, who's on older tyres and on the hards?
Honestly, right now I'm not sure. Andy is looking promising on that podium. But he has also got a 3-second time penalty to his name, which doesn't help matters either. But so does Arise thinking about it. Arise is slowly getting away from Evil Zook. So it's going to be interesting to see how Andy can defend this podium position right now. There's only 10 laps to go. So in those 10 laps, anything is possible. But if he can hold on, I think Andy could take P3 away with him. But Arise, he is one of the fastest drivers on this grid right now. So I wouldn't write Arise off. I would say that he is definitely going to be up for the podium position.
Yeah, you gotta love all the top 5. Evil Zook, he's had some really poor luck at times, and at the moment he's 3.5 off Andy, who I think has a 3-second penalty. So at the moment, Evil Zook, he's half a second off the podium. But you've got Arise, who, if he gets held up by Andy, that could ruin both of them, and they could both get caught out by Evil Zoot. So Andy and Arise, they both have to work together to make sure Evil Zoot doesn't catch them. But as it stands, Energy just nearly lost DRS, and he has lost DRS. And that could be crucial, because we saw how much Energy was gaining with the DRS. And now VIP, if he can pull out a DRS to Energy, that could be absolutely crucial. As it's 3 seconds the gap, and now it's 1.2. And these two, they're going to be approaching his own teammate, Illicit Brownie. And I think VIP, he hasn't given DRS. VIP doesn't have DRS. But Illicit Brownie, I wonder if he's going to... He does pull off to the side. He's surely going to let his teammate through as well. And he does. But that's going to be quite major. And Energy not getting DRS, as there were yellow flags there. So, do you think he can maybe get back inside the DRS window? Because we saw it's also so important, or to make sure you can close up down out in straight into turn 1.
It's going to be tough, but I think he might be able to just do it if he pushes enough,
Andy,
but not too hard.
Andy just gets a penalty there, and that's Evil Zook on the podium all of a sudden. But Andy, if those mediums don't last, we said it, but if those mediums don't last, Andy's got a win here. Or does Arise have the win? It's all so many factors to be played out. I think Jimstrav gets past Resolute. These two have been battling for a while. I think Evil Zoot made a mistake. Does he have damage? I don't think he does. I could have sworn I saw a front wing there. As who's that? I think is that Demoniac with damage. Ooh, you might have to help me out, because I could have sworn I saw a wing and some yellow flags being waved. A bit odd, yeah.
Damage, as far as I'm aware.
Could be Jimstrav holding up this queue. I might be going insane, but from what I know, I thought I saw a front wing. But more to the point, Energy right on the bubble, 1 second to VIP. They both have absolutely 0 ERS. I think Evil Zook lost a little bit of time, but he's still going to be sitting around 4th. He's got to make up some time on Arise, but Arise, as we know, his pace is very strong. As Demoniac as well, he's right on the back of Jimstrav. Hard to keep up with all of this, but it's going to be very interesting to see if we're going to have someone new on the podium with Energy. But I think your prediction was Arise, VIP, and
Resolute.
I mean, if Resolute with a penalty, he's not looking the most likely, but he can definitely make off it. Spoke too early. Is that ties? That's going to be a safety car, surely. No, it's in the pits. It's in the pits. So got a little bit carried away there, but as things stand, it's VIP out on top. Illicit Brownie gets a penalty after he's been lapped. As yeah, he's been lapped quite a few times by a few people now. But Energy, he's losing time to VIP, and now VIP, he's only got to make up 1.5 seconds as Andy pits.
I think he's done that to try and get on to faster tyres, so he can come out and he can just fly around the track and hopefully take away that win, or potentially get on podium, as he does actually go onto the mediums as well, which means he is going to be on the freshest tyres on the grid, and potentially one of the fastest drivers on the grid if he uses his mediums right.
For me, Andy's just thrown away 12
I thought
points.
There was a safety car. Ignore me.
I don't know. Unless he had damage, which I don't think he changed his wing. Would he not go on to softs anyway? And that's a very, 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 very confusing decision. But we'll focus on Resolute Rally, who's got another penalty, and I think Resolute Rally is not going to be finishing P6 as things stand. Demoniac, he thinks, Demoniac gets a penalty as well. I think these two are fighting a little bit too aggressively, as Dirasaki and Bar are fighting quite well. But there's quite a few individual battles, aren't there, Dan? With a lot of drivers having DRS. Now, once you have that kind of DRS fight, you kind of keep on fighting, and usually it can go on for quite a while.
It can, yeah. I've seen fights with people with DRS, and some of the time, people push that hard using DRS to overtake somebody that they will go into turn 10. Let's say turn 10 was the toughest turn on a track, they would go into that turn too aggressively and not only take themselves out of the race, but probably take the other guy out of the race as well. So when you see when there's a DRS battle, you need to be careful on how you take it, because it's not easy to be in a massive DRS battle, especially when your tyres are getting old as well.
Yeah, definitely. And as your tyres get older, obviously it's pretty. It's not going to do you the best into turn 1 and 2, a chicane where you really do need the grip, as we're seeing Resolute with a lot of grip, with one lap fresher tyres than Demoniac, but he's all over the back of Demoniac.
I've just noticed Energy's picked up a penalty.
I'm so slow. I think that it could have been because maybe Lewis got in his way, but that is, I mean, you might as well give VIP the trophy. I think that means it's game set match for VIP, unless I'm mistaken.
VIP has just been so good tonight. He has just been on form all night. But Energy's got to try and stick with him, because who knows, VIP might make a mistake and it might cost him the race. So Energy needs to just stick with him for the rest of the race now, I think.
Yeah, Resolute makes a position, as you said. Andy trying to go as fast as possible. Oh, he has a lot of penalties though, doesn't he? I'm just looking. He has 6 seconds. Oh, if he can try and get onto the back of O'Stephen in these last laps, it'd be very impressive. As there's actually quite a big train, isn't there? All the way from more or less Saki Bene all the way down to O'Stephen. But there's also another train with Resolute Rally, Jim Strav and Demoniac. So quite a few battles to look out for. And now Arise gets another penalty, and that means Iwazuki's only half a second off, but just as I say that, it's now 7/10. So I think that battle is probably dead and buried already. If there's a late safety car, Evil Zook is in business, as there's yellow flags. So that could be an absolute game changer for Evil Zook if there turns out to be a safety car. And who knows, maybe they'll do what obviously Nelson Piquet and Alonso did with Bar crashing out, causing a safety car, and Evil Zook could come home with a healthy sum of points. But any surprises since qualifying, as I'm going to get up the position changes, Dan?
I have not seen anything eventful recently, other than Arise coming from bottom half of the grid to now being on podium as it stands. But anything can still change in this race, providing Arise doesn't make any more mistakes and gets himself another penalty. But I think Energy is just hoping that VIP picks up another penalty just to try and help him win this race tonight. But I think VIP is just pushing so hard right now that Energy just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I think this is where I would say VIP is probably, on his day, one of the best drivers in F4, if not the best, because he has, as Stephen makes up a move, so that's quite impressive. And that is, as Bar makes a very last minute lunge. Stephen actually going to make up a few positions here. I'll get up the penalties. Stephen could well move up to around P8 or 7, so that he could be gaining a few positions. Ferrari could be in for quite a good result here, if they stay with very few penalties. But VIP on his day, as I was going to say, he's very, very fast. But another driver who seems to be very fast, I've just realised, is Arise. Look at that. He's already almost in DRS of Energy. Where did that come from?
I mean, if Arise can get this overtake on Energy, I know it's unlikely, but he's still got enough time to get 3 seconds ahead of him. So anything is possible in this race now. This is just wow. Arise is not giving up, is he?
Arise, I think he's turned off medium traction, and it seems to slow it's an absolute rocket ship off some of the corners. He's 6/10 away. This is, at this rate, he could well maybe be on the back of VIP, but it's going to be extremely tough. He has to make the move now if he wants to have a little bit of fun. Energy is running out of energy. He's on 4%. Arise is not going to use any more overtake, or is he? Oh, he could have made the move, but he decides to think better of it. But Arise is having a really good recovery since that VIP incident. And if VIP picks up a 5 second penalty with that incident, Arise could definitely be sitting P2. And that could mean Energy takes the win. So that is a factor to consider. But at the moment, it is of course VIP out on top. And I mean, Dan, we with 8 or 16 drivers still in the running, quite a lot compared to what we usually have. A lot of penalties. I think we can safely say for Imola, in general, in league racing, it's a very tough track with a lot of spinners as well. We saw.
Yeah, it is a very difficult track to get adjusted to. But the drivers that have been out on this track all night, they have been amazing, and all of them deserve to be in the points, in my opinion. But you can already see how the top three's planning out. Arise, I can't. If he gets the overtake, there's no way he can get 3 seconds ahead of Energy, and if he does, hands up to him. There's no.
Yeah,
That's got
absolutely.
DRS on now, to come on to lap 31 here. 2 tenths separating them, 1 tenth. Is he going to get the overtake? Yes, he is just. And Arise will move up to P2, so now he needs to try and find that energy that he's got to get 3 seconds ahead of Energy. And Arise could potentially do something that we do not see very often, and that is get 3 seconds ahead on these final laps.
Yeah, I think the gap of 2.2 could be very interesting, because I realise only now, which is very slow of me, Arise is on 5 lap fresher tyres, so he is fast, but is he that fast? And maybe, will Energy or VIP get a puncture? Because Arise is on fresher tyres, but if we assume VIP, as he goes off, he actually gained a bit of time there, so maybe he got a warning. If VIP gets a 5 second penalty for that incident he had, oh, this could be interesting. 17 viewers I've just seen as well, so this race, really quite interesting, and it's almost reminiscent of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, the way the front three if you included, I don't know, Perez somehow into this, but Arise, Energy and VIP, they've been a class above the rest. Evil Zook, he stayed penaltyless. And so Arise only goes and sets the fastest lap with 1 lap to go. He's actually picked up DRS here, so I reckon Arise, if he gets out of gains 1 more second on Energy, that could be the race win, because VIP is definitely going to get reported for his first lap incident. I can't remember what lap it was, but you can look back at it if you're watching this live. But Arise 2 seconds, 1.8, so I think Arise is getting stuck in between, I think that's Lewis. Arise will be screaming at Lewis to get out of the way, but Andy retires, and obviously that's not going to be a safety car, but Dan, it does seem as though Arise, he's going to have to settle for second.
He's going to have to. I mean, I can't even see him getting the 3 second gap that he needs to go on to finish P2, because he's got a 6 second penalty as well, which means at the minute Energy's taking P2. But this is going to be a really, really close finish here. 2.3 seconds separating them right now.
Yeah, and VIP up to the line. He's going to take the win out on track, but whether it will stand on penalties, it is still VIP out on top in Imola. Arise in second. Energy is going to take seconds. So, is Energy maybe going to take the win with the stewards being involved? Evil Zook, what a race. Very solid. Up in P4. No penalties for him as well. And those mediums have lasted well for all of the top 2 and 4th. And a few of the other drivers, like Barr, who don't think sadly will be coming away with a point. Oh, Stephen's going to take... Where's he going to finish? He might jump a few places. He gets 7th. So Ferrari have a respectable point score, but Williams and VIP both extend their championship leads. And Wesley Raleigh, just seeing that, 18 thousandths of a second off 2 more points. He's going to be kicking himself there. The smallest of margins can decide your championship position, but I mean, as much as that incident, obviously in turn 1, Dan, with VIP and Arise, we have to say hands down to VIP due to Gabriel, like you said. He's been absolutely on form today, magnificent pole, and he definitely deserves to win.
He definitely deserved the win here tonight. He proved it in qualifying with the time that he got, and all night he's just been on form from start to finish. In my opinion, yeah, but it's been a great race all round.
Definitely. And driver of the day is Jim Strav, but we've got to decide our driver of the day. If you had to give it to anyone, Dan, who would you give it to? Tough one, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very tough. Personally, I'm going to have to say I'm tied between Energy and Arise here. I want to give it to Energy for such an amazing debut from him, but I think I may have to give it to Arise, down to the fact that Arise, yeah, he started, was it P2? He started, and he moved down the grid after the incident, and he got himself back up onto the podium. So in my opinion, I'm going to have to give it to Arise, whether you agree or not. The driver of the day that I'll give it to is Arise.
I'm very much happy to go with that. I think you summarised that brilliantly. He takes fastest lap as well. So, he, as shown, he does have the pace. Big shame, obviously, about that incident. Who knows how long they could have been fighting for, VIP and Arise. It could have been a whole length, whole race battle. But I think all the podium guys have definitely got reasons to be driver of the day. VIP as well. He hasn't won. I'm gonna have to check since when. For a man who's leading the championship, it's been a while. He hasn't won since Spain. That was the third round of the championship. Been a while for him. He's gonna win out on track, which he'll be very happy about. As you said, the debutant as well in the McLaren. He's in second. That could easily turn into the win if if VRP picks up a penalty. He also probably could be a runner for drive of the day. But it is, I would say, and you would say, I definitely agree with you. Arise probably deserves driver of the day as he made a brilliant comeback under that second safety car. So did Jim Strav as well. He was down in P18. He made up a few positions. Jim Strav, it seems as though he gets driver of the day every week. By the game, of course.
Jim Strav is a great driver, and I would have been happy enough to give it to him, but I think it's like I said, Arise. He starts P2, he gets into an incident, he moves down to what, P13, 14, 15, and he's now back. He finished on the podium. Those sort of races you just don't see every day.
Yeah, you definitely don't. And look at those penalties. Resolute Rally 18, Pippo 11. Pippo, we don't usually see you get many penalties. And I'm not sure whether we're leaving this final results screen. Some people quite like it, so definitely going to keep it up. But Unai was the last of the finishers, and he crashed out. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DNFs for a track which is pretty ruthless. I think that's quite respectable. A hell of a lot of penalties. So I think anyone racing here, you definitely know, just like Steven did, take it easy with the track limits as they can definitely come back to bite you. But I think I'm going to go off the interviews, Dan. I'm not sure whether you're busy, but
I'll join
will
you
you
over
be
the
joining?
interviews.
Nice, nice. And as we got the timer going off, but yeah, I'll won't waste any more time. I'll just join the F4 interviews chat. We should be joining any second now. Hoi, 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 and we are now here for the interviews as all the drivers have joined, as we got Dan as well. But it will be, I think, VIP GTA Gamer as VIP GTA Gamer will interview first, and then we'll get a few questions from Dan at the end. But VIP GTA Gamer, you obviously took the win, very nice, as well as a pole. With the incident as well, it might leave a little bit of a shadow over the race, but overall, you've got to be very happy with the win.
Yeah, I don't know if it was my internet, but you cut out middle in the question.
Oh, I was just saying, obviously, you took pole and you had a great win. But although with the Arise obviously crash, it might overshadow it a bit. But overall, you've got to be happy with the win, surely.
Yeah, I was really happy with the pole position, finally beating Arise, and with a big gap with 310. So I was happy about that. Yeah, I'm sorry for him that I spun him out. I like to see his POV because I thought he wasn't alongside me anymore. So I thought I could turn in, but I couldn't, and I spun him out, and I know I did something wrong. So I fully deserve a penalty. And yeah, great race from him as well to get back in P3.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you guys know, but I think both of you would have been right up there in R3. I think you would have been top 5 almost. So you were absolutely on it today. Such a shame you couldn't get into the 14s, but surely you're going to be very glad with this pace and hope it continues on to next week in. So you're going to have to bear with me. I think it's Russia. It is Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Russia.
Do you think you can pick up another podium? And if you keep up this pace, surely a win, another win, depending whether this one counts, is going to be coming your way.
Yeah, there are tracks now coming that are more in my favor, I think. Russia, I think I'm okay at that, and especially Singapore, the next race, I think. So yeah, I hope I can get a big gap in the championship and have some nice battles in the end.
Yeah, definitely, and I think a lot of people will be hoping that as well. But I'll come over to you, Dan. Hopefully, you're on a party. How do you think VIP GTA Gamer performed, or is he taking pole and a race win? Do you think it could have gone much better for him?
Honestly, it was a great race all round. He got a great qualifying time, and to be in the lead for nearly the whole race, it's just amazing to see. And VIP, you're a great driver. So personally, I think you deserve to be up there tonight. But it's like Bunty said, you was involved in an incident which, like you said, could shadow over the race results. But I think that you take that into the race again next week, do the exact same thing. I think you will go on to win again next week. And I don't know if you're watching the stream, but I said that I was tied between giving you energy and a Rise driver of the day. So it could have gone to you, but unfortunately I'd give it to a Rise. But yeah, great drive from you tonight, VIP, and I hope to see that again next week.
Yeah, really thank you from you.
And yeah, I'll echo that as well. Hope to see you next week, right back at it again. You haven't missed a single race, so very much expecting you to be there in Russia. And go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
No problemo. And I'll have to scan the interviews to see who is next. I need to get the race results up as well, just to be sure. I think it is. Oh, of course, it's Evil Zook. So. No questions asked about that. Evil Zook. Oh, you started. Where did you start? P6 and finished 4th. Very solid race overall. Do you want to talk us through your thoughts about the track Imola? Probably in general, you probably must like it quite a bit, and whether you're happy with P4.
Raced it twice now. That race went a lot better than my other one. Trying to think. Gutted with the result in the end because I could have caught up with the others at all. And if I was, you can ask anyone, you can ask Bar, you can ask GTA Gamer. I was crying for a safety car on lap like 29 when I knew Jim Strav and everyone behind me had a penalty and everyone ahead of me had penalties. I was crying for the safety car, but in the end it didn't come. P4 though, really good result. Not just for the team in the constructors, but also for my championship. Because I believe I jumped Alpha King finally, and I jumped Steven and joined the 100 points club, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. Just about to say that. 100 points. You should make your way up to 6th. Very solid race. Probably, I'd say actually, maybe one of your best races in FRL altogether. absolutely spotless in terms of qualifying went very well for yourself, and a race.
Did it?
I mean, P6 wasn't too bad. I saw you were up a few times, but
Yeah.
definitely
I did
after
one
that,
lap.
yeah.
I did one
I'm
valid
sure
lap. I did
you
5
a few
invalids.
invalidations. But yeah, after that last safety car, you definitely seem to just manage that P4 really nicely. And into Russia, what are your thoughts about the track? Do you think you can once again replicate it and get another double points finish in terms of double digits of points?
I'm trying to think. How did I do in Russia last year in last NF2? It was my best quali in F2 last year, P13.
Mhm.
So I could hopefully carry on qualifying there very well. I got took out, but I made a recovery drive from 20th to 13th again. I like the track. I'm praying it's not wet. I'll take tsunamis, but not wet. But hopefully,
Ooh. Yeah,
who the hell was that?
I'm not sure.
But I mean, I'm looking at incidents as well. I've just seen a GTA game has been reported by Arise. Gymshark's been reported as well. So maybe a P3, maybe. But
You
who
never
knows? Who
know.
knows?
You never know. But I'll come over to Dan quickly. And Dan, do you have any questions for Arise about obviously his solid P4 and a solid P6 qualifying?
I'm Zook.
Oh, for goodness sake, you said Arise. My memory's awful. I meant Zook. I meant Zook. I meant Zook. Sorry, Dan. Yeah.
It's been a long day.
I don't blame you. You guys did an amazing job.
But yeah, Dan. Any questions for Zook?
Can't think of any other than all I can say to you, mate, is a great drive from you tonight. Getting P4, personally, I thought you were going to take that podium away from Arise. Do you think you could have taken it away from him had you had that extra lap or two?
No, he was way too quick for me. So I mean, we had a good battle, which was caught on stream for P4. Mini got past me, he just went. So I felt P4 was damage reputation in the championship for me, trying to catch a rise and all that. But it was a good one, a good day in the office. I mean, Jim Strav, Demoniac all behind me, which is, I think a certain GTA game is going to be buying me a coffee for that. But for a good day in the office, good points for the team. Hopefully push on in Russia.
It was a great drive from you tonight, to be perfectly honest with you. I was like rooting for you to take that podium position. But who knows, if these incidents go your way, you may still see yourself getting podium points. But who knows, it was a great drive, and hopefully I look forward to seeing you in Russia.
Gutsy. Right, Gutsy. Thanks for commentating, guys. Bunty, good luck tomorrow. And
Thank
catch
you.
your breath.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, I don't bottle another one of these interviews. But I think, who's next? I'll check the interviews again. We'll leave the Frenchies to the end, which is, of course, the man who finished second. But I think, who's next? Resolute Rally, if you're there. Is Resolute Rally there? Nice, okay. Well, it was a very hectic race, as I can tell by your voice. You got P4 in qualifying. Very, very strong qualifying. And you managed to bring some points home, which is, I think, possibly your... I'll have to check, but it's probably your first... Oh, you got 14 points already this season, but you add on to that with 2. Obviously, finishing 9th, very hectic, but how do you want to summarise that race? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And obviously, we saw you have a few battles towards the end with Jim Strav and I think it was Demoniac. Do you think, in the end, getting P9, if you were a little bit more careful with the penalties, you could have made up a few more positions? Mhm. And just quickly, in terms of qualifying, you got P4. Do you think that's a surprise for you, or is that just your natural raw pace there? Yeah, you were very close. I think you were 4/10 off pole, but honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that very technical track, that is quite close. But I'll come on over to you, Dan. Any questions for Reslu? Obviously, took P9 in the race, but definitely a lot of potential there, right?
Yeah, he had a great race, but I'm not very happy he didn't get podium like I predicted. No, I'm only messing. You had a great race. No, I'm only messing. You had a great race all round. Personally, from watching your qualifying time, I was expecting you to take the podium. I was going to say put you on for the win, but I think that might have been, no offense, but I think that might have been a bit too much of a push considering where you got in qualifying, and obviously you had VIP and Arise ahead of you. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, but I hope I see you in Russia again next week. How do you feel about going into Russia?
Mhm.
Just go out, just go out, do what you did tonight in qualifying, and I'm sure you'll be fine next week. And obviously, I look forward to seeing you there next week, hopefully.
Mhm. Yeah, go and enjoy your evening. And I think we will move on to, I believe it's Drake and Lewis Bowl. And then we got the Frenchies. So I've got to check who is next. I think I'm just going to guess and say Lewis finished ahead. So I will unmute Mr. Lewis. And Lewis, you there? Hoi hoi. And just saying, you finished P15, but in terms of qualifying, P15 as well. Quite a solid, I guess, maybe boring day at the office, but in terms of the track, Imola, did you enjoy yourself this evening, or was it one of those tracks where you just happy to get it ended? Yeah, and we did see you at the start, which was very odd. You didn't make many positions like you usually do, but Imola's obviously a track where you don't have the most amount of room to make a mistake or. Mhm. Yeah, I think we saw you hold station in around P15, P16, but in terms of the safety cars, do you think they helped you or hindered you? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and in terms of going to Russia, you end your three race streak of getting three DNFs, and obviously before that you got 1 point. You're on. It'd be interesting to see if you can finish at another race in Russia, maybe get points. Do you think Russia's one of your stronger tracks? Because your antics last season in F2 were interesting, so we never really got to see your true pace. But how's your pace around Russia? Ooh. Keeping expectations low. You've heard that a few times, but it'll be very interesting to see if you can do what you did in France and get maybe look for some solid points. But I'll come over to you, Dan. Dan, he's actually Lewis obviously on the same points as Umnoid, looking probably to get a few more points in their championship. But Dan, do you think for Lewis any advice into Russia in terms of I guess keeping it consistent and picking up some points?
Russia isn't my favourite track, so I can't really say much. I can't really give you much advice other than just go out there, do your best because you are a great driver, and I think you have full potential to do well next week. Get off to a good start in qualifying, and obviously we'll see where you end up, and hopefully we see you in the points, maybe battling out for top 5 next week, because I think you deserve to be up there from the races I've seen from you.
Yeah, I echo that as well. And obviously, Lewis, go enjoy your evening, and hopefully in Russia it goes well for you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, saw that.
And what was the other point? Yeah.
And also, thank you. I'll be at the end there.
Yeah, we you ghosting. We take what we can get. But as Dan said, best of luck in terms of Russia. You definitely deserve some points. So hopefully you get some in Russia, and we'll see you next week. Doi. And I think the next one up, I'll check the interviews again.
Jake.
I think it's Jake, yeah. So I'll just go to Jake and unmute him. Okay, so is Jake there? Well, Jake, you came on late notice, and sadly, obviously, well, you did respond to the attendance chat, but it's fine. You got sadly P20 in the end, but qualifying looked a little bit better with P14. Like Lewis, do you think Imola was one of those tracks where you enjoyed it, or do you think you're looking on in terms of the future races like Russia and Singapore to get some points? Because it was, I guess, a little bit disappointing because obviously we're used to seeing you sometimes fighting quite solidly around the points playing positions. Mhm. 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 Well, that'll be interesting because it sounds like you and your teammate in the Alpines could be up there. Obviously, today wasn't the best of your days. I imagine you kind of want to already get through to next week and get on to Russia. But do you want to summarise your race for us? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Hello.
Ooh. Ignore that, or whatever that was. Mhm. 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 And did you were you did you retire before the first safety car? Because I can't remember whether you caused the first one. That would make a lot more sense because we were thinking Mini with his debris caused it, but was that where did you spin and crash? Mhm. Ah, okay. Mhm. And it'd be interesting to know how you think you're going to do around Russia. But Dan, I'll leave you to ask that question. And yeah, Dan, take it away.
Well, yeah, unfortunate race from you tonight. Obviously, I don't exactly know what went wrong there because I wasn't watching you at the time. But how do you feel about going into Russia?
You're
Yeah,
done? Yeah.
well, sorry, I was out of it then. Um, yeah, well, good luck going into Russia. It's not my favourite track, so to all of you guys going out and track into Russia next week, good luck, and hopefully I'll see you all there. I'll see you there again next week.
And yeah, go enjoy your evening, Jake. And hopefully next week you can get some sort of points. As I'm not sure whether we have got anyone left in terms of who can speak English. Let's have a look. We have got the two Frenchmans. So, can either of you give us a few words in French about your races?
Énergie Tigrou, il parle pas anglais. Je voudrais féliciter Tigrou pour son premier podium.
Mm-hmm. And I think that wraps it up, to be honest, the race. Nice words in French there from D. Moniak. And yeah, pleasure to commentate you with you, Dan, RC, tonight. Great to have you back in the commentary box. Well, what a race is probably a justified opinion about it. Very nice race. And any final thoughts on the race, Dan?
No, all I can say is it was a great race from everybody tonight. Unfortunate for some of the guys that crashed out, but hopefully they come back stronger next week and they prove to us that they should have never crashed out this week and they go on some good points next week.
Mm-hmm. A few peculiar noises there, but I definitely agree with you, Dan. It'll be very interesting to see how it goes and whether they can keep it up in Russia. If you come around in Russia, who knows? We could have VIP and Arise fighting it out once again. It'll be very, very exciting indeed. But that is it done for the Emilia-Romagna, San Marino, Italian, whatever you want to call it, Grand Prix, and we will see you in Russia.